Hello everybody, it's Robert here, and it's September 10th, 2023. It's about 11:45 a.m. California time. Thank you for joining me. I know these videos won't be up until long after this date because I still haven't decided what I want to do on as far as posting videos to what page. I do have a couple YouTube pages, and I still haven't decided which one I want to do my baseball card reveals and my ticket stub reveal stuff on. So I'm working on that. I've been posting videos. It's got to be since the early to mid 2000s. Used to post a lot of videos of concerts that I went to, different bands live in Albuquerque when I lived out there. And I do have some old baseball card videos, and I have had some other YouTube accounts that I eventually lost. Like, I think 2 of them might have got copyrighted because I was posting videos of concerts. So anyways, a few got taken down, so I did lose a lot of videos. I did have my videos backed up onto an old external hard drive, but for some reason I can't access that hard drive anymore. So some of my old concert videos, baseball card stuff, is probably missing from there. I have come across some stuff that I did in 2013, and I'll be posting those along with these videos. But yeah, I've had YouTube accounts since way back in the early days. Definitely was posting a lot of stuff. I had different kind of it was different back then. You can sign up for an account, and I think you just needed an email address. And so I had one for like concert videos, and then one for stuff that I did, hanging out with my friends, going to the lake and stuff like that. And then I had other ones for just kind of random stuff that I liked, whether it's baseball cards or talking about concerts or stuff like that. And also since then, my old computer that I used to have that stuff on, my old laptop, it crapped out and got a virus or something and was never able to recover it. So I may have lost a bunch of old stuff. But some of these videos that I had on here go back to the mid 2000, around 2005 to 2006, 7, somewhere around there. But I mostly just put those videos, changed who can see them, because it's a lot of stuff that doesn't have anything to do with this. So that's why I'm trying to decide what I want to do with these baseball card videos and other hobby videos, because this channel was more meant for something else back in the day. And I do have a channel that I think would be perfect for this, like the name, Old Style Classics, but I can't seem to log into it. I used to have a different email address, and when I try to punch that in or try to log into that, I can't get to it, or it's just been taken off because I didn't use it for so long. For a long time there, I did post a lot of videos, and it used to take a whole lot of time to upload to YouTube. It used to had to be under 10 minutes, and then it would take forever to upload, and then you would spend, like, let's say you went to a concert and recorded like 5 songs. If one of the songs was over 10 minutes, you had to break it up into 2, or you'd have to clip it, and then you'd upload, and it would take you like 3 days to post those 5 videos if you didn't have good internet at the time. And then you would have like 50 videos that you posted and spent months doing, and then you get copyrighted or something and it gets taken down, and then like if you got 3 strikes they would remove your, that channel, and that had happened a couple times. So I just got to the point where I stopped posting videos on YouTube altogether. And like stuff that I would do at concerts, I would just upload to Facebook, and I can control who would watch that stuff, so I could just make it to my friends. So I kind of stopped using YouTube, at least for posting stuff, for a long time, but I've still maintained these accounts, and definitely want to post these things up here. And yesterday I did have, we went out to a concert, and then when I came home I had 10 different eBay stuff. So anyways, that was Friday night. I guess it's technically Sunday morning now, but Friday night, the 8th, we went to San Francisco, and I talked about that for a long time. And my video went on for like 2 hours. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. That was my mail day reveal. But I did spend a lot of time talking about other stuff, and maybe I'll just split it into 3 videos. And but anyways, today I'm going to do a recap of yesterday's mail day. We went to see Lionel Richie last night in San Francisco, so I got off of work, came home, just had enough time to change, and then we had to run across the street to catch the express train to San Francisco. So I didn't get to eat until I got to the stadium, which everything was way overpriced at the Chase Center in San Francisco. But the train got canceled, and then we had to wait like 45 minutes, which, would have been nice to know, because then we could have got something to eat, and even some hot dogs at Costco or something. But then the train we took had to stop at every single stop on the way there instead of being express. So we made it just in time to catch most of Earth, Wind & Fire, and then Lionel Richie, and it was a great show. Got lost leaving this arena, heading back to the train, because the GPS on my wife's phone thought we were driving, so it took us a different way. And so we ended up walking like 2 miles, and that kind of sucked. So I went on about that a long time yesterday, and then I also had 10 packages that I've been wanting to open, because I had to work yesterday, and I came home and was tired and thirsty and hungry, and so I took care of that. And then I got my second wind and started doing that video. It was 10 packages, but a ton of stuff, because some of it was like a bulk order from Check Out My Cards. So needless to say, my video went on for a long time, so 2 hours. So yeah, that was a long ramble, and I'm already at 8 minutes now. I do have 3 packages that I received in the mail today, or yesterday, Saturday. I didn't get to do a video earlier because I went ahead and let my wife, she wanted to watch her soap operas, and so she was watching a lot of episodes, and I usually do these videos here on the couch, just in the front room, because we haven't got the other room set up yet for doing videos. And I kind of like doing it here, so I just waited until she was done watching stuff, and she wanted to go to bed. So now I'm just going to do a recap on all the stuff that I got yesterday. And I'm going to talk about this card first. I'm not going to go in the order that I did on the other video. You can watch that if you want to. It'll either be a 2-hour long video, or part 1 and 2, part 2 and 3. I guess I would have marked that as September 9th, 2023, because it was after midnight. And but I'm just going to go in the order that I have here, so it's not like a complete reveal, just a recap. But I will talk about this card. So this is the Adrian Peterson. This is a 2009 Allen Ginters, and it's in the NFL logo and uniform. So they had the license at the time. And this mini which if you guys watch my videos already, I love Allen Ginters. I love oddball stuff. I collect Andre Dawson, and I'm trying to get a different, of all the different Allen Ginter stuff that's out there, I try to get at least one, because Allen Ginter sets are huge and they have a lot of crazy stuff, and you'll never be able to get everything because they got a lot of one-on-one stuff. But so this is one of the oddball Allen Ginters. So it's even oddball to Allen Ginters, which is kind of oddball as it is. So this is not part of the regular set of Allen Ginters 2009 set. This is a Target exclusive, so I wasn't quite sure yesterday, but I did look it up. So this is a Target exclusive that you would get from 2009 Topps football. And at Target, those gravity feed, those boxes that would hang, and then the cards would just kind of, the packs would just fall down, and then you could pull packs out. They're called feeder boxes, gravity feeders. And in those packs of Topps this year, they had a lot of subsets, and oh, just to point out, a lot of times I'll say like parallel or exclusive or something like that, and forgive me if I speak wrong. A lot of times the word I'm looking for is variations, and I forget that. So like, for example, a regular Allen Ginter base mini, and then the variation would be like an Allen Ginter back, or a black border, or a gold border, and so on and so forth. So sometimes I'll say parallel, and what I really mean is variation. But I did pull up my computer just to double check, because this card I also thought could have been a National Convention card, but it's not. So I just had to double check because it didn't have a receipt. So I'm looking at my original where I purchased it from eBay, and it says 2009 Topps Allen Ginter Target exclusive mini, Adrian Peterson, number AG7. So as you see there, AG7 cost me like $5 with 87 cents shipping, just to add to, to check off my list, because I don't have any of the cards from this subset that was in another product. So that's why I call it an oddball to the oddball. So it's not part of regular Allen Ginter. It was an Allen Ginter card that was only available in a different product, which was 2009 Topps football, and only available through Target. And I'll just talk about a few other insert sets that they had at the time too. So yeah, this one just says 2009 Topps Allen Ginter Target exclusive mini. So it doesn't really have any information. So then I Googled it, and the first thing that pops up here, and I'll read this to you here in a minute. So at least at Beckett, I found this little write-up about this this set. Set information. This insert set was issued exclusively in Target stores' retail feeder boxes. The print run apparently was very low, as the singles are typically difficult to find. It appears that the Stafford, Crabtree, and Roethlisberger cards were issued in short supply, while the Elway, Ryan, Sanchez cards appear to be double printed. And the total number of cards in this exclusive subset is there's 15 cards, no memorabilia, no rookie cards, no autographs, no serial numbered cards. And the people on the set list are, I'll just start it, Allen Ginter AG number 1, And then I won't keep saying the number, but I'll go from 1 to 2 to 3 and so on. So AG1 was Earl Campbell, AG2 Matthew Stafford, 3 is Peyton Manning, 4 Chris Johnson, 5 John Elway, 6 Mark Sanchez, 7 Adrian Peterson, 8 Matt Ryan, 9 Ben Roethlisberger, 10 Terry Bradshaw, 11 Michael Crabtree, 12 was Bo Jackson, 13 Gale Sayers, that'd be a nice one to have as being a Bear fan. 14 was Chris Wells, and 15 was Dan Marino. So that's the subset exclusive for Target. Just a few things I saw that, I mean, they have a ton of different subsets and parallels and variations and stuff like that for that set. But Walmart had Tops, so, you know, if Target gets something, then Walmart usually gets something. So Tops Walmart exclusive All-Americans, they had a 15 card exclusive, but those are like full-size gold cards, like modern looking cards. And another interesting subset, insert set, whatever, in that year, 2009, was Topps Chicle. So that's another old-fashioned style card that Topps did. And you know, Topps had Topps Chicle baseball card set, which was kind of like in the, you know, them trying to do another kind of Allen Ginter's kind of thing. And it was before Gypsy Queen came out, so maybe they were shopping around to try to do something new. And Chicle, they were okay, but they weren't great. You know, they were kind of little dull, little bland, kind of like some of the Topps 206 early ones were. They didn't have any minis, or, you know, it just wasn't great. It just wasn't bad. It just, yeah, it was too much like Allen Ginter's, but bland. You know, just, yeah. So they kind of did away with that, but it's interesting that they did do a Chicle subset in Topps Football 2009, and that was a 100 card set list. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go into much. I don't see anything else that interests me that's like old fashioned. So that I got, so that is the Target exclusive. I'll set that aside. And then next, okay, I'll do these first, because if you watched the video or if you didn't, you know, one of my objects, like I've said, was to go after all the different kind of Allen Ginter cards that they do, but that's not the only thing that interests me. I like tobacco minis, and I like other, you know, I like all kind of baseball cards, but I kind of prefer these old-fashioned style ones, and I really love the tobacco cards. And as I said, I'm kind of going for the you know, to get Andre Dawson's and other odd stuff that they came out with, but I also like Gypsy Queen and all that kind of stuff. So we have Adrian Peterson, and in the same vein as that is this 2012 Allen Ginter's mini of Layla, so WWE. She was a wrestler back then, and these are the mini cards that was insert set for the 2012 Topps Heritage. So I've talked about this in my other videos, but so like that football card, that was not part of the regular Topps normal set. You know, 2009, you could only get that in the football, and so you would never even see that as part of the set list for the 2009 Allen Ginter. And if you weren't into football cards or wrestling, you would never know that Allen Ginter had these other cards out there. And but as far as I know, outside of Allen Ginter X and let's say Chrome, which are Allen Ginter products, the most stuff that you can get are out of wrestling. So over the years, every few years they would do WWE Heritage, and one of the insert sets would be Allen Ginter minis or full-size cards, or Chrome Allen Ginters in the Chrome Heritage. So there are other Allen Ginter cards out there to get, and I did pick up the 2007s. I got 6 of the 2007 minis, that Allen Ginter cards that were in the Heritage. And then 2008 they had more full-size cards, so I picked up that was the Chrome. So I did pick up an Undertaker from that year. I do have another one coming, and I also believe that 2008 was also the year they had the WWE Heritage tins. So you know how they would sell cards in a tin, metal can, and they looked like Allen Ginter. It said the World Champions, and inside those tins was, you know, like a big pack of Heritage cards, but you would get one tin exclusive of the you know, the person who was on the front of the tin, and the one exclusive card box, whatever tin box card was Ric Flair. So I picked that up, and he's also on the cover of the tin. So they had different wrestlers that you can get on that tin, and so they had a few different things in 2008. And then I don't think they did anything until this year, 2012. So I picked up one from that set. I don't have the set list in front of me, checklist, but I got this one because, yeah, that's a pretty nice looking card, eh, guys? Alright. And 2021 Heritage, the last year Topps had wrestling, also had a insert set of 30 cards, and I did a video where I did show some of those, and I did buy a second hobby box of Heritage 2021 so that I could put a second set together for my folder, and I did actually complete a second set. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to, because the I kept getting a bunch of doubles, and when I opened the first box I didn't remember getting that many doubles, so I thought that maybe I wasn't going to complete the set. But on the very last pack that I didn't open on camera, I did get the last 2 cards that I need, so I did get a second set of those, and then some extra cards, you know, like I got a double of Alexa Bliss, so that's nice. And you know, I'll show those in a folder, probably on another video, because they tend to go on. And you know, I also said that I do like old-fashioned style cards, like the old tobacco style cards. Of course I like the real old tobacco style cards, but I only have a few of those. But I do have a special one coming in the mail. So the guy was on vacation, I think, until the 11th, so he won't even be shipping it probably till tomorrow, but we'll talk about that another day. But then I did get this is why my video went on for a long time yesterday. I went on a whole tangent about this card and how Barry Bonds tried to get 73 home runs when he did get 73 home runs, because he didn't want to just beat Mark McGwire and Sosa. He also wanted the professional baseball home run record, which was owned by this guy for decades. And this is Joe Bauman from the Tristar Obak cards. And I had the full-size cards, and I always needed a mini of this one. And the guy only has 2 cards in existence that I know of. And I've said before that I don't even know if the second one's a legit brand. But anyways, in 2009, Obak put him in their first set of these cards. They did it for a few years. And so this is Joe Bauman while he's on the Amarillo Gold Sox. But in 1954, he played for the Roswell Rockets in New Mexico, where I'm from, which I've talked a lot about, or grew up, I should say. I'm from Chicago, but 1954 for the Roswell Rockets, he hit 72 home runs, which was the professional baseball record. And until Barry Bonds went out of his way to even beat his record, he it's been said, wanted this record too. He didn't want anybody to have more home runs than him, at least in American baseball. I don't know what Japan and Korea record is, but so yeah, Joe Bauman, and he doesn't get a lot of credit. A lot of people don't know about him, but they did create an award for minor league baseball. The person who hits the most home runs in minor league baseball is awarded the Bauman Award, and so it's named after him. So he's the second most popular thing to come out of Roswell since the crashed alien UFOs in 1947. This beautiful set, 2009 Obak. I got me some Andre Dawsons from this set. They're nice cards. I wish they kept doing them, but it's Tristar and they could barely compete. So they were really nice cards based on minor leagues. Even people like Ted Williams or, and then some prospects like Mike Stanton, who is now Giancarlo Stanton, Buster Posey, and all these guys, in their minor leagues. It's a pretty neat set. And I also talked about how this lady that has the same last name as me wrote a book about New Mexico baseball, and I'd gotten it. Reached out to her through Facebook and asked her if she would sign it if I sent her the book, and she did. And I sent her one of these full-size cards because he's featured in that book. She talks a lot about him and tells his story. So I sent her a card, and in return, not only did she inscribe my book, like, hey, my long-lost cousin, because we have the same last name, she sent me the original picture of Joe Bauman that she used that's in the book. So there's an image in the book, and the picture they used for that, she sent that original one to me. So I have that, and I'll show it someday. Alright, we'll speed up a little bit. I was looking for Debbie Gibson cards, and I got the 90 Superstar or Star cards, or whatever they were called. I picked up 6 of those, and while I was looking for them, I came across this Tobacco Mini. I don't think it's a legitimate brand or legitimate card. Somebody I'm thinking probably just made these up, but they were cheap, and so I was able to pick up this one of Debbie Gibson. They had some different cards of her. It's a Millhouse tobacco product, supposedly number 3 of 3, so who knows what that means. But yeah, it's cheap, and whether it's legit or not, I dig it. It's cool. So add that to my little collection. I always had a crush on her. And then I also picked up the Danica Patrick, which they had a bunch different styles of her, but I like this one. You can imagine why. And I've already spoken about how Danica Patrick in the 2006 Allen Ginter was always my chase, the autograph card, and she's the short print in that, and so I like Danica Patrick, so I picked this one up as well. So those are neat. They do fit in the mini top loaders and even the mini penny sleeve, but they do not fit in the mini binder pages. So that kind of sucks. So I'll either have to leave them in here, or I don't know if the full-size top loader mini sleeves will work on this. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to I'll move on to this next, and then everything after this will be a theme. I showed this Tommy Bahama 2009 World Series relic card. And so certified genuine article number 264 out of 1900. And what this card is, and I have another one coming that has a little bit different color here, and they were pretty cheap. It just says Topps, and it doesn't say Allen Ginter anywhere on here. But the reason I picked this up was the only this year Topps. So just like I showed you, the Adrian Peterson was 2009. So it seems like in that set that I talked about, they had a lot of different variations and subsets and stuff like that. So it seems like in 2009, Topps did a lot of insert sets and special things, particularly that year. And this one, in honor of the 2009 World Series, well, I guess it's 2010, so maybe scratch what I said, but nevertheless, in 2009 World Series, New York played Philadelphia. Tommy Bahama, the clothing company or whatever, put out these shirts, which they only made 900 of, and it has the World Series art from Tommy Bahama on the back. Topps bought up a number of these shirts to create this card as a I don't know, relic, or just they use this shirt to make these cards. And that shows a little certificate of what the card, what the shirt was, and then Topps talks about how they made this card out of that. And the reason it's Allen Ginter related is, one, it kind of has that Allen Ginter look, kind of the old-fashioned like you would see on some of the relic cards that they do have. And the only way you can get this card was to get the sell sheet, which I've showed you. I have 2006 and 7 Allen Ginter sell sheets, and so I guess, and I must have misspoke yesterday, because I don't know when they stopped doing sell sheets, because they're now just internet. But at least in 2010 they would have had a sell sheet, because these cards that they had, which were 1900 of them, were only available to get in the Allen Ginter sell sheet. So these came in some of the sell sheets, that they would send out to hobby stores, hobby shops and stuff like that. I don't know if they were in every single one of them, or if just random ones came with this card. And then I know Topps did stuff similar to this for other brands, like probably in their sell sheets or in their actual sets. But this was one of the exclusives to Allen Ginter, and exclusive to the Allen Ginter sell sheet. So that's cool. Alright, now we're going to move on to Andre Dawson. So I'm an Andre Dawson collector, I'm an Allen Ginter collector. I want to do oddball stuff with Allen Ginter, get a metal card, get a, signed box loader, wood card, stained glass, dinosaur DNA, whatever. All the different kinds of cards that they did, or these little insert sets that they had in other brands, wrestling, basketball, or football, anything that had Allen Ginter that was not just the regular stuff. I want to do that, but I also figured, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to try to do it if Andre Dawson. I want to get all the Andre Dawson stuff that Allen Ginter's has done. I know I won't get all the 101s or anything, or maybe some of the lower numbered cards, but I like to try to have at least one. If I got a green card from one year, and then I get the gold from a different season, that's fine with me. But if I can do that and get in an Andre Dawson, even better for me, because he's my PC. But obviously some of the cards aren't even, with Andre Dawson, so like a dinosaur relic or something. But I do, like I said, I do like old-fashioned cards like that Tristar Obak. I do like the new Topps 206 that they're doing, that they're just doing minis and not the full-size cards. because I don't think the full-size cards look good on the Topps 206 or 205. But this year, um, I'm not able to get a box. Hobby store didn't have them, and I don't order from Topps. So normally I like to chase cards. I like to pull cards out of box, sets. I like the hunt, and I like the trying to get the card myself. But sometimes you're just not able to, and it's just easier to just go ahead and buy it. So I've kind of as the years have gone by, with especially Andre Dawson stuff or Allen Ginter and stuff, it's just easier to order some of the stuff. Now, I love pulling stuff. I mean, if I had this box, I would go after this card and it would make me super happy to pull it myself. But I'm not going to pay extra to just buy a box and then not even know if I'm going to get this. If the price is reasonable, I'd order some of those, maybe from eBay or, Dave and Adams or something like that. But I got into an Andre Dawson buying spree lately to kind of fill in my collection some more. So I'm just fine with ordering it off eBay or check out my cards or whatever. So I did pick up the 2022 Topps 206 Andre Dawson in the Cubs uniform. I like that. It's a really good looking card, very centered. It's just the base back. So I got that, and I'd love to open a box because I like these Topps 206. I like any mini card. I like the old tobacco style. I prefer the old-fashioned ones. I'm not as big a fan of like the modern design on the mini cards. Like I think I have a Matt Ryan football one that's like number 25 that I got at the San Jose card show, and that's cool and I like it. It's neat, but I prefer these. That's why I really haven't gotten the Topps rip yet. One, I've never ripped a card even though I have some, but those were kind of too modern looking for me, and so I'd like to pick one of those up at least, have a mini or something. But things are almost $200 at the hobby shop here, and I'm just like, yeah, I like minis, and but I'm not gonna pay that kind of money for that. And that's one of the things that upsets me, that Gypsy Queen stopped doing these mini cards. Mini Tobacco, Goodwin Champion stopped doing that, and Goodwin Champions is just horrible right now. They've become like a modern card. They don't even look like the old tobacco cards, even the full size. Diamond King stopped doing it. Gypsy Queen stopped doing it. So there's few and far between. So Topps 206 is like one of the last few that you can get the minis in. Well, that's all they do for Topps 206 now is the mini. That you can consistently get. I mean, they might have a subset here and there for other brands and other products, but yeah, you never, it's hard to keep track of everything that's out there. So I did pick me up one of these. It's a beautiful card. I like that. Pretty much same. They keep using the same image over and over and over on like his Allen Ginter, and then Topps 206, and the Kimball ones that they did. And well, those were really nice minis though. I really liked the Kimballs when they first did those, and so the original Topps 206, they were okay. One last thing, they either do them in the Cubs or the Montreal Expos uniform. Obviously, I prefer the Cubs because I'm a Cubs fan, even though he was my favorite player before he was on the Cubs. I don't know. I've seen him on TV a couple times, and I don't know. I just liked Andre Dawson, and I loved the way he batted. And I tried to do that in Little League, and it drove my Little League coach crazy because I refused to not try to bat like Andre Dawson with that bat real high. And that was in the minors, so I think I was like 10, 11, or 12 or something like that. So was always an Andre Dawson fan, and what a surprise it was for him to come on the Cubs in '87. But I'm ready for them to kind of go ahead and they should do a set where he's on the Red Sox. You know, like Allen Ginter, do him on the Red Sox uniform 1 year. Then maybe a few years later, put him in the Florida Marlins uniform because he played for those teams, and you know, it'd be nice for them to do that because I don't want it to just get stale. All right, next I did pick up older Andre Dawson Gypsy Queen. I believe this is the first year Gypsy Queen, and they used to have minis as well. They were really nice. They have some really nice parallel or variations or whatever minis in Gypsy Queen. I've just put them in these top loaders, even though scratched up for now with the little sleeve to present, but I'll probably end up putting these in a binder. But I got this one specifically because it was a red back, and I know that's a variation, and I don't know what it's number 2 or how often you would pick this up, like how many packs you would have to open to get a red, kind of like an Allen Ginter back or something like that. But I really wanted this. I might have this card already, but the base one. But I really like that Gypsy Queen back, and God, I hope they bring Gypsy Queen back for starters, and I hope they go back to this because you look up some of the numbered little minis, the blacks, the greens, and all these other ones. They're beautiful cards. All right, I'm going on for a long time, so now I did pick up 2013 Topps Allen Ginter Andre Dawson Mini. The first year it was on Allen Ginter. I like that image. But I got this one because it's an ANG back. And prior to the last few weeks when I've ordered some Allen Ginter Andre Dawsons with Allen Ginter back, I never had any of them. I was never able to pull an ANG back. I did get black borders and some numbered cards, but for whatever reason never got ANG, so I've ordered like 3 or 4 of them, and so that's one of them. Then I got this black border 2014, which I didn't have. Then I got the Allen Ginter X from 2017 mini, and then this one has an Allen Ginter back, so I'm still not sure if all the Allen Ginter X minis for this season were ANG backs, or if they did have a parallel or variation where the Allen Ginter back was harder to pull out of Allen Ginter X, because I know in the more recent sets this wasn't even a thing, so it may just be in all the minis. I'll have to look into that. So I got that. That kind of goes with my autograph archives. And then okay, so now these next ones is all going to be 2020 Allen Ginter Andre Dawson, and what I'm trying to do for the 2020 set was trying to run the rainbow, but I'm trying to get anything and everything from Allen Ginter that year of Andre Dawson. But basically I'm trying to run what I would call the rainbow that you can possibly get, excluding the 101s, which, unless somebody wants to sell one of those, you're probably not going to come across it, and I'm not going to pay $300 or $400 for a 101. So there's the base, or the mini Allen Ginter 2020 base card, number 64, so it should all be 64. And so I did get one person was selling the main variations of the minis, like the 4 different ones, so I just picked that up from the person because I think I already had the base card. So this one, another Allen Ginter back, number 64. So the basic card, the next level rare. I really like the ANG back on that year. That was a good one. Then the black border. So I think I ordered a gold border, but I haven't gotten it yet, unless it's in the opening that I'm going to do here in a little while. The Allen Ginter X 2020 Mini. Number 64. I don't have the full-size one. If I do, it's not on hand right now. Then there's the base, full-size Allen Ginter Andre Dawson, number 64. The variation of the big card. Oh, I do have it. So this is the variation of the big card that I always forget about. I'm usually like, oh, you can either get, the full-size base card and maybe an autograph if they have that. And then you would have to get like the X and the chrome or whatever. But you wouldn't even really need to do that because those aren't part of the original base set. The normal cards, those are kind of their own sets. But for me, I'm going to try to run that too, the X and the chrome. But there is the foil, the hot box foil card. So that is a variation that you would want to add because, they're a lot more available. So there's that. Then there's the full-size Allen Ginter X. I think this is base full-size. I'm not sure if this season they did the glossy. So sometimes on Allen Ginter X there will be ones that are a lot darker with a little bit of shine, and those I believe are the glossies, which are not hard because I think in the packs that they actually do the year that they have the glossies, if a pack has 8 cards, there's like 3 of them are glossy, and then like the other 5 would be like this. But I don't know if they did that this year. I'll have to look it up, because if there is a glossy version, I'll have to get that. But it's not glossy like what you would see in regular Allen Ginter and like the 101s. It's not that shiny and smooth. It's just a lot richer black, darker. Then I got the base Allen Ginter Chrome 2020. So that's just the regular Chrome card. Still number 64. Then I guess I accidentally ordered 2 of the 2020 Allen Ginter Chrome refractor. So it's got that refractor thing going on compared to the regular chrome, which doesn't have the rainbow effect. So see the difference there. This one's got the rainbow and that one doesn't. So I got 2 of those, which is fine with me. The more the merrier. Then I did pick up a 2020 Allen Ginter Chrome Green, parallel variation, whatever. These are numbered to 99. So this year I don't think they had magenta. Well, I'm pretty sure they didn't have magenta, but then I would need like the red, the orange, the gold, the blue, and like an X-fractor to complete that rainbow. Obviously, if you can get the superfractor 101, that would be great. And the same with the different colors on the minis. But yeah, the 101s I don't consider something you need to do. And then the mini, all the mini cards on Chrome are refractor, so there wouldn't be like, oh, you also got to get the base and then the refractor. No, they're all refractors, so you would just need the base mini, then the colored minis. I don't know if there's an X-fractor mini and then like the superfractor. I know there's a superfractor mini, but I don't know about this season. So I don't think you would need to get the 101 in my opinion. If you can, then you get like the expert master level, rainbow. But so those are those. So a lot of 2020s, and I do have some in the binder. I just not going to go into because it's going to go too long. I got the 2018 mini Andre Dawson with because another Allen Ginter back that I wanted to get. And this is also the same as the 5x7 online exclusive Andre Dawson that I got for 2018. So that's the card that's like this big. And I might have it right here, which maybe I'll show really quick. The reason I'm going to point this one out is because if I were trying to run the rainbow for this season, the 2018, then I think because they did these this year, you would have to add this to this, you know, this you would also need to pick up. And this is 26 of 49. This is the 5x7 Allen Ginter online exclusive that you can only order online. And then there's the mini from that same season. So look at the difference between that, you know. So, but if you were trying to run all the cards based on the base card to run that rainbow, so to speak, I think you would need to get this card if it was available. So you'd have to check. Maybe E-Tops if they had it. I don't know. I mean, depends how available the E-Tops cards are. Oh, and that was the other thing about those football cards that I told you about, the Adrian Peterson. They do have that 15 card set, and then there are some exclusive E-Tops, those super shiny cards. Allen Ginters from that year, the NFL version of the Allen Ginter, so they did have some E-Tops for that. But anyways, so I think if I were running the 2018, I would also need this to complete my rainbow to make me happy. And being that it's only 49, it's not impossible. Okay. And so that was that card. I got an Allen Ginter X version of that, mini. Just a regular back there. Then I also picked this up in that, I think this was through Check Out My Cards or eBay, but a lot of those minis were definitely from Check Out My Cards. I got the 2017 Allen Ginter X, and this one's super dark. So like compared to that other one, I think this one actually could be the glossy that kind of what I was talking about. Just really quick, let me pull that one out to kind of show you the difference. I know it's two different seasons, so that's why it's hard to say for sure. But it is basically almost the same image, just different number of bats. But you can see how this one's a lot duller, and this one's a little more darker and it's got more pop. So I believe that is the glossy version. I'm not 100% sure, but I know definitely, like in the more recent Allen Ginter X's that I was able to open, which I think was 2020 and well, maybe 2021, so I don't know, but I know that at least one of those boxes I opened, it did say there's glossies and regular, and the difference was very subtle, but it was maybe when it's the same set, it's not as, doesn't stand out as much as these two because they're different years, but you can definitely tell there's a difference. And a lot of people will be opening them and they're like, I don't understand why some are more darker than the others, and well, that's why. Since I do have the mini of that season, so look at the mini's color compared to that one. The mini is much darker than this one, so I believe that the minis would all be glossy if that were the case. And so that would be the difference. So I probably need to find out and get the glossy version, especially if there is in the 2020, because that's, yeah, like on this. So because I'm trying to run a rainbow, if there is a glossy version of this compared to that, I need to get that to do my rainbow. Okay. Already about an hour into it. So we got those. The green. That is 27 of 99. So if I come across some of the other colored ones, I'll try to pick those up. But my main goal was to run the rainbow of the base set. You know, the chrome and the Allen Ginter X would be just like a bonus. You know, I mean, yeah, I'll shoot for that, you know, down the line. You know, I'll pick these up when I see them. But really, what I'm doing is going for the main set. And these are like bonus. Okay, the other thing I did pick up, and I almost forgot to show you guys, was I told you one of the things that I was trying to do was just get a different kind of Allen Ginter card of all the different kinds they have put out. So one of my things was to try to get a box loader autograph, and I originally put a bid in for the one that I'm going to show you here in a second, but I didn't know if I'd win it, and then I came across this one and it was pretty cheap, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger and just bought this one, so that I know that I would have a cabinet box loader, you know, to check off my list. And so I picked up this Benintendi autograph one, which is nice, but then I did end up winning the other auction. So I finally got that in the mail. I'm just going to say yesterday because that's when I did the reveal. So I did pick up this Ryan Mountcastle rookie card, number 8 of 15 for the Orioles. Nice signature, different season, 2021. So I was able to pick that up. So now I have 2 autograph box loaders. And now I need to get an autograph N43. And of course, like if they had the N43 relic and autograph, and even if they have one of these larger ones, relic autograph, I'd have to do that. But the N43 autographs are a lot more expensive, and probably because it's easier to store. But I mean, this card, I think probably with shipping and everything, cost me like $25. And try getting a Ryan Mountcastle autograph card from his rookie season. You know, you're looking $80, $100 and some odd dollars, and those are like ones numbered to like 99. Look at this, that's numbered to 15. I got this for like $25. I know that it's harder to store, and maybe that's why people don't want them as much, but you can't beat it. And and it's, you know, these check this off my list. And as far as relic goes, I should be getting some of those. Again, for your patience. Really quick, I did show some boxes recently when I was showing my Allen Ginter packaging and blasters and wrappers. I did show the score box that I had left over, and the reason I kept it was for the box bottom, which had the exclusive cards in it. And so I finally brought that to work to use the paper cutter, and so I cut the box bottom off so that I would have these cards. So I just put that in a big top loader, and so it's got my Andre Dawson on there, and Ricky Henderson and Darryl Strawberry, and then this little great moments in baseball trivia card. And this one particularly talks about Paul Molitor's hitting streak that was ended by a rookie. And but the reason I want this is for that Andre Dawson. I know a lot of people like Ricky Henderson, and there are some Darryl Strawberry people out there, but I'm going to keep it like this, you know, so that's cool. And then I also had showed the upper deck that had the box, you know, the cabinet card on the bottom, the Ted Williams. So I did cut the Ted Williams out. I made sure to leave the orange border, you know, the orange all around, because technically the card is up to the white. So there's orange showing all around. So if I were to ever sell it or try to get it graded, it would, you know, not be miscut or something like that. These are just a blank back, but they're basically the size of a cabinet loader now. Okay, so we did all that. I am happy that the guy did, with the Ryan Mountcastle, he did keep the wrapper. So I'll keep that wrapper as well. There's some stuff about Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind, and Fire last night. And, you know, the receipts from Check Out My Cards and stuff. So let's do the, we're in an hour right now, so let's go ahead and get into these mail day stuff that I got in the mail today. House of Commons, St. Louis. So whatever I got from them. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, a receipt and a million stickers on this. Okay. Well, take this off of here, pull this out. So at least they're doing some advertising for their little, or I don't know if it's little or not, for their company. They got this little seal sticker on here. I think that's to hold it to the receipt that you get. And then it's got this. Clever. Thank you, House of Commons. I'll have to double check the price, see if I should really be thanking you, but nah, just kidding. So again, I went ahead and ordered from these people another year Topps 206 and Andre Dawson from this season. And this would have been, you know, obviously before this year when they would only do 50 cards per wave. So whatever wave this is, it's either 1 or 8, I believe. And I think that's 2021. It doesn't like your thumb. Yeah. If you can't see, get out the magnifying glass. Yep, 2021. So this is Topps 206 2021, just the base back. Andre Dawson. So like I said, I like tobacco minis, and Andre Dawson's my PC guy. So yeah, it's a pretty card too. Alright. So that's pretty cool. '21 and then 2022 right there. So neat. Oh, we just zapped a bug. Alright. So let me look at this real quick. Yeah, it doesn't say how much it was. It just what's in the package. All right, next we got another one of these Armalope Protect What You Ship, and this is from Burbank. So maybe, I don't know if this is from Burbank Cards, but all right. So this is just down the road. All right. So all right. So as as I described before, Tristar Obak came out in 2009 with their little answer to Allen Ginter, which was these old tobacco style cards. Obak used to be a minor league set that from cigarettes that were sold out west, and they were mostly like PCL cards from around the same time as T206, around the 1909 or the teens. And I've never seen any like in person, like at a show or anything. And then so Obak was the name of the brand, and Tristar brought these out kind of like an answer to Allen and Ginter and Goodwin Champions and stuff like that. So there's this one, and you know how like the Allen and Ginter, one of the oddballs for me are the cards that you can get at the national conventions. So those are cards that aren't in the main set that I want to add to my Allen and Ginter collection. But Obak actually had a mini that they did. So this is introducing the 2009 number 1 draft pick, Stephen Strasburg, is introduced to our crowd at National Park, 8/21/09. So this card is like an early version of the Obak. But this, let me just look at this real quick. So this is from the, I want to say that says 31st Annual National Sports Collectors Convention Limited Edition. So these are like those cards like Allen and Ginter gives out only at the National Convention. And this is like Obak introducing this set to the world. And this is the N12. They do have some other National Convention cards from this year, but they look more like the regular Obak card. I think that they got Stephen Strasburg. They were able to pick him up late, and then they produced this card, or they didn't have the license or something. Yeah, something like that, or it was an early one, and they hadn't, you know, decided to go with these style or something like that. So when you look at other national convention cards for Obak, they're kind of normal looking like the other card, but this one is a very cardboard looking, and it's just one of these ones that are kind of, the only thing similar to these I think was the box loaders that they did, was kind of in this style I think, and they just went with this style for this card, because this was kind of a exclusive or late to the game or early to the game or something like that before they decided what they're going to do. And so this one is, not only is it a national convention card, which even though I'm not trying to do anything and everything that Obak did, I did buy a bunch of Obak. I know they did a football set too, which I have some of those. I don't know if they did basketball, but I really liked the baseball ones, and this was a different kind for that, and I was like, oh, I came across it and it's pretty cheap, and I thought it was different than what the other Obak would normally get, so I decided to go ahead and pick this up. If you hold it there long enough, whatever, it doesn't like top loaders, it doesn't like the glare, but I mean, it's neat, you know. Is it something I needed? No, but yeah, it's cool, you know. And it's a draft pick of him. I mean, turned out to be a pretty good pitcher. All right. Oh, I guess I got 4 things. I thought I only had 3. All right. So whatever this is came from Kingston, Washington. From Brett. Thank you. What we have here, blank paper, Alright. So this is a 2014 red border. So, you know, like I'm saying that I'm trying to get something different from everything, you know. They got Allen Ginter back. They've had black border since the beginning. Then they started doing gold border for the retail, and they might even be doing gold border in hobby now. But there were a couple years that they did have a red border. And I believe that what the red border is they were exclusive. I think it's 2014 and 15 that they did the red border. And these were exclusive to the complete set. So they did, you know how Top sells a complete set of their cards, you know, like flagship. You can go to Target and buy the complete set. For a few years they did that with Allen Ginter. I think they even did a Tiffany version of Allen Ginter, like all glossy and all serial numbered. But anyways, so for 2014 in particular, in the complete set box that you could buy, you know, it all had the Allen Ginter design and everything on the box. There were exclusive red bordered minis that you can get in one of those boxes, and they are all numbered, the exclusives. So this is 11 of 33. So I don't know if they just took every single card in the set and had them numbered. I don't think so. I think they had an exclusive different, you know, like a subset or whatever. The exclusives, I don't know how many cards are in the exclusive, but this is card number 100, so who knows how many cards were in that set if you wanted to put a complete set of the exclusives together, or if this is one of the base cards. I don't know, it doesn't matter. You know, if there was 350 and they did 33 of each one, then that would give you an idea of how many complete sets they did. Nevertheless, this is number 11 of 33. It's Queen Victoria. It's pretty much the only one that I've seen available for this season on eBay. If I did see something else, it was like some regular player that was like, the cost was through the roof. It was just too expensive. I mean, I think I put out over $10 for this. And you say, well, why are you a Queen Victoria fan? Well, I mean, I love the name Victoria. If I had a little girl, I always wanted to name her Victoria. But no, I just wanted to have one of the exclusives from that year, from the complete set. That's like one of the things that I needed. They had an exclusive this year, and I want to add one into my collection. And this was the best priced one, and I got nothing against her. And it's a numbered card, so that's cool. So I did order another one from the next year, or the other one that they had red border, and I believe that one they were numbered to 40 at least. So this one was even lower number than that. So this is to 33, and then I think the next season the red borders were to like 40, and then I believe they stopped doing that. So obviously I just needed to have a red border in my collection. But since they had two different numbering, you know, if they were always up to 33, then I might not have picked up the other one because I would have just had a red border. But since the other ones were to 40, I went ahead and picked up one of those. So I don't know if that's here today or not. So that's neat. Something different. What I really want to do is get me one of the micro minis that are 101s that come out of the mini rip card. So that's cool. Alright, last reveal of the day. Nothing else in there. Okay. Shout out to Jared Yaffe. who lives now in Lavernia, Texas. Um, so I know what this card is. When I went onto eBay, he had this card on sale, but he also had to make an offer, so I made an offer. But when I was going to go to make the offer, it said that the card was coming from Artesia, New Mexico. And as I've talked about, I grew up in New Mexico, and I consider myself a New Mexican. So I was there since first grade. Um, you know, Professional sports, I'm a Chicago fan because I'm from Chicago. And we used to go to Wrigley Field and games and stuff like that. So as far as professional sports go, I'm always a Chicago fan, except for the White Sox. Nope. Um, Cubs, Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks. To a degree, I guess the Chicago Fire. Um, but professionally, my heart's in Chicago. So even moving here to the Bay Area, I'll never be a fan of those teams. It's not in me. I've always been a Chicago fan. So, and then when it comes to college and or minor league sports, first and foremost, I go for New Mexico because that's where I grew up, and that's all I really have. It gets a little gray area if it's, especially in baseball, if it's like the Peoria Cubs or something to do with the Cubs, then obviously I want them to do good because I want my Cubs to do good. And growing up, that we had the Albuquerque Dukes, which AAA baseball, and I liked going and I enjoyed it, but it was just a horrible stadium. It was ugly. The Albuquerque Dukes uniforms were horrible, just ugly in my opinion. And they abandoned the city because the city refused to build them a new stadium, and so they bounced. I think they went to Calgary, and then who knows where they went, or they went to Portland or something like that, and they bounced. And then of course baseball was scrambling because Major League Baseball says they want a AAA team in Albuquerque. They always do, and because we used to be the Dodgers farm team. So quickly, so I think that's what happened was the Dukes moved to Portland, and then who knows where they ended up. And then the Calgary team wasn't doing good up there, and they wanted to move, so they convinced them to go to Albuquerque. And then at that time, Albuquerque gave the voters a choice to either not build a stadium downtown, or quote refurbish the old stadium. So they chose the third, was to refurbish the old stadium. So what they did was they tore down the entire other stadium. They left the field, like the playing surface, and the concrete walkway that goes from the dugouts to the clubhouse. So just the two concrete walls, like the little tunnel, they left that in what they call the playing surface, and they built a new stadium around it. So that was the remodel. They built a completely new stadium. It's one of the most beautiful stadiums you'll ever go to. I mean, it's 20 years old now, so it's probably showing its age. But it's still a beautiful stadium. And then so they built that stadium. It was a brand new stadium. It was always one of the best in the minor leagues, always up at the top. Then they did the contest of what are we going to name the team, and everyone chose the Albuquerque Isotopes because that's based on the Simpsons episode Hungry Hungry Homer, where he finds out that Springfield Isotopes baseball team, that's their minor league team in Springfield for the Simpsons, is going to move to Albuquerque. And then Homer finds out about it, goes on a hunger strike, and ends up keeping the team. So anyways, the people voted for the Isotopes, and it's super cool. It's an interesting backstory, and their logo is super cool because it's retro futuristic. So it has that old-fashioned feel for what like people back in the day thought the future was going to be like. So it would be like like even pre-Jetsons, it's like what people in the comic books thought the future was going to be like. And that's kind of what the Isotopes logo looks like. And the stadium's kind of old-fashioned, but it has that, what they thought the future stadium would be like, instead of like some cookie cutter or something like that. So it's just really neat. It's a beautiful stadium that they rebuilt, and or not even rebuilt, they just built, and it's a great place to watch baseball. I wish they did the downtown stadium, but this one worked out, and people swarmed the place. Soccer team plays there too now, so needless to say, they do pretty good in making their money back on that stadium. But anyway, so this guy on his eBay said that he was in Artesia, New Mexico, and that's where this would come from. So sorry I went off on that tangent there. So I made him an offer on this card that I needed for my little rainbow PC Allen Ginter thing. And, you know, I told him, hey, I'm a displaced New Mexican here in California. And, you know, how's it going out there? And here's my offer. And he's like, oh, that's a fair offer. You know, I accept it. And he goes, oh, I used to live in Artesia, but I've since moved to Texas. And so we chit-chatted a little bit through the eBay, you know, emailing each other or whatever. And he recently sent me a couple more emails because he was shocked that I hadn't got the card yet, because he said he would send it to me, but he was out on vacation and wasn't able to do it right away. And then now that he sent it, he's been like, oh, it hasn't showed up, and he's freaking out, and I haven't responded yet because I'm like, I'll give it some time. You know, we had the holiday weekend. Alright, so he accepted my offer. Probably still paid too much for this, but I needed it, so. And since it's my PC guy, I don't care, that's fine. Now, he did protect it pretty well, but I can't get it out of here. Oh my god. I don't know how I got in this sleeve. Jeez. Alright, so now actually this is not for my rainbow, but this is kind of for my PC. Not only am I trying to run the rainbow on the 2012, but I also want to have one of each kind of Allen Ginter card that they have of Andre Dawson. So yeah, would it be nice if this was the 2020 version? Yes, because then that would be perfect for my rainbow, and I'm going to still try to get that card if I ever see it. But I needed this card just to say I had an Andre Dawson version of this. So like I've told you, I have the base cards. I've gotten the black border, but I had never gotten an Allen Ginter back. So I ordered, obviously, a couple of those. And then I did order a gold border, and I finally got one of those. And as I showed before, one of the other PCs, you know, like I said, I'm trying to get every kind of different Allen Ginter type that they have for Andre Dawson. You know, like I said, on the chrome, I'm going to try to get the blue, I'll try to get the red, I'll try to get the gold, I'll try to get the magenta, or, you know, all those. But for me, it doesn't have to be all in one season, although I am trying for the 2020. Nevertheless, you know, I would like to say that I have base Andre Dawson any year, which I already have. The foil, you know, hot box version, so now I've gotten a couple of those. I need to get me a full-size autograph card if they have one. I don't know if they do, but if they do, I need to get one of those. You know, I need to get me mini framed autograph Andre Dawson from Allen Ginter, which I don't think I have one of those. I've been holding out on that because I want to try to find one that's in the Cubs. I needed to get me an Allen Ginter Archive Signature Series one, so I picked up one of those. You know, I need to get a metal, a wood. So to get all that stuff in one season is pretty impossible. So just to have one from any season of each of the ones, especially the more difficult they are to get, I don't care. I just want to have one. And so, for example, this one here covers a few different things for me for the Allen Ginter Andre Dawson personal collection. So this actually is part of my 2020 rainbow, and maybe this is why I chose to do the 2020, was because I'd picked this up. And this is a 2020 Topps Allen Ginter Andre Dawson Mini Brooklyn back, hand numbered to 25, Gem Mint 10, and it's populational 1, so it's the highest graded of this card there is. So it's populational 1. That's not to say other people can't send the other 24 cards in and get the same grade. I don't know, but I have this. I normally don't buy graded cards, but hey, it was an Andre Dawson Gem Mint 10, and it fills the fact that I needed to get a Brooklyn back card of Andre. So not only did I get the Allen Ginter Brooklyn back, so that's a check off my list, then it, in a sense, checks off the fact that, okay, it's nice to have an Allen Ginter graded card. So that's another check off the list, even though I do have the Aaron Judge Angie back mini graded to 9 by PSA, but so now I have 2 graded Allen Ginter, so that's kind of a check off the list. Not that I had to have it, but it's nice to say, oh, I got a graded version of Allen Ginter and of my player in a tin with a Brooklyn back. So now this one fills another check off my list for the Allen Ginter and the Dawson part. I do have other ones of these type of cards, but you know, just getting an Andre Dawson Angie No Number. I didn't have any of these for Andre Dawson. I do have other No Number cards, but now I have an Andre Dawson No Number. Andre Dawson Brooklyn back. I have gold, I have black. You know, I have base, I have, you know, the Archive Signature Series, I have graded. I have the online exclusive mega card. You know, I need to pick up a micro card if there's one of him out there. I need a wood, I need to get a metal. You know, so if I'm going to check those things off my Allen Ginter list, if I can get them in Dawson, all the better. So there you go. So I was able to pick up a 2022, which they're pretty nice cards. I know the border's a little weird, but I like this scrolling, and I love any A&G back. They're always cool. But now I got me a no numbered, so that means there's only 50 of these from this season, even though it doesn't say anything of, but the no number cards are limited to 50 each card in the set. So boom, that's another PC check for Allen Ginter for me. And even though that was supposed to be a short recap video, it was an hour and a half. So alright everybody, thank you for watching, and I'm going to stop it here because if I have anything else to say, I'll just do another video. Alright, thank you. Take care.